Russia and Ukraine, time to change course. There are plenty of players in the drama regarding the invasion of Ukraine by Russia. The crazed murderer Putin still thinks he'll eventually take over Ukraine. Frankly, he thinks he'll eventually take over the rest of Europe that used to be part of the USSR. Yes, folks, he's right out there with some of the television and movie villains that we've seen in the past in various James Bond movies, etc. And that's for some of you too young to remember, USSR was that incredible failed attempt at communism that cost millions of lives and proved that it simply does not work. Due to the systemic failures within Ukraine itself and the parallel failures of the major European countries to modernize their militaries and take on Putin earlier, this has become a tough case to resolve. This, of course, was complicated by the incredible failure of the Biden-Harris administration that allowed the second invasion to happen at all. Further, once started, Biden's handlers were slow-walking aid to Ukraine and would not provide offensive weapons. Of course, I say handlers since we know that by 2022, old Joe was not mentally capable of being president. Most foreign powers, including Putin, obviously knew that. After years of not providing the brave and resilient Ukrainian fighters the weapons they need, the tide is turning. It looks like Putin's failure to now come to the table and instead still slaughtering civilians is changing U.S. strategy. It is very likely that the U.S. will provide Ukraine the offensive weapons needed to start causing damage to Russian infrastructure. Parallel to that, penalizing countries still buying Russian oil should also help. This is parallel to my pleas to stop buying anything from the threat to world civilization, China. Confirmation of this is a report that an $850 million package of weapons, much of it paid for by the EU, is now pending in the U.S. That package includes 3,000 extended-range attack munition missiles with ranges up to 280 miles. Officials said their use will also require Pentagon approval. But that has been the problem all along. Let's give Ukraine the weapons and the go-ahead to use them as they see fit. They've earned that right. Military expert Stephen Bryan, who recently was a guest here on Saving America, has indicated that Ukraine is considering the best at making attack drones. It also makes its own cruise-type missiles. Bryan continues that Russia is number 2 making these type of drones, with the U.S. and China way behind. This has to be a real priority for the future of USA military. Cheap and deadly, we also have to develop capabilities for defending against those drones. Not surprisingly, some of the useless and biased talking heads of the slopstream media have criticized the president's most recent efforts to bring peace between Russia and Ukraine. Vice President Vance has spoken out to defend such efforts as not wasting time. An effort was justified, but since that did not work, tougher steps will need to be followed by the U.S. and its allies. Another positive step is that NATO is not backing down from helping Ukraine. I note the series of ridiculous demands from that murderer Putin. He wants the eastern Donbass region of Ukraine, a very productive area. He wants to make sure Ukraine never joins NATO. He doesn't want any Western troops stationed in Ukraine, and essentially wants Russia to have complete control over Ukraine and its relationship with other countries. No sensible country would agree to these demands. Russia must be punished until all such demands are taken off the table. Sadly, that means more death and destruction, but the world needs to make sure it's happening in Russia now, not just in Ukraine. The world will wait and watch as the next steps unfold. This is Dr. David D. Schein. Thanks for joining me for this special edition of Saving America. Remember, a new Saving America show is aired on the Brushwood Media Network every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Listen on any of the 16 network stations, Apple or Google mobile app, Apple CarPlay, TuneIn, Smart Speaker, and all smart TVs. Find more information at the brushwoodmedianetwork.com. Please be sure to join us each week. We welcome and love your feedback from our growing audience.